For the last 30 days, my finances have been a complete mess, and I did it on purpose. I intentionally made three of the biggest mistakes that keep people stuck in a cycle of debt and worry. Now, I didn't do this to be reckless. I did it to understand, to really get why so many of us, even when we try our best, struggle to get ahead. What I found was a surprising pattern of self-sabotage that's about way more than just numbers on a spreadsheet. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what it is, and more importantly, how to break free from it. To find the truth, I had to live it. For 1 month, I just threw out the financial rulebook. I wanted to feel the anxiety, the temptation, and the consequences for myself. Because it's one thing to read about these mistakes in a book, but it is a totally different thing to live them. And what I learned is that these aren't just a few random bad habits. They're all connected in a system that keeps people stuck. And it all starts with the very first mistake, the one that makes all the others possible. The first mistake I made was living with zero financial direction. For 30 days, I had no budget, no spending tracker, no goals. I call this flying blind. Most people don't think they're doing this, but let me ask you, can you say with 100% certainty where every dollar from your last paycheck went? If not, you might be flying blind too. We can all relate to that feeling of money just disappearing. My experiment started out simply. I just stopped checking my bank account before buying something. That morning coffee, swipe. Lunch out with friends because I was too busy to pack one, swipe. I saw an ad for a new streaming service with a free trial I knew I would forget to cancel. Signed up. Swipe. Each decision felt so small, almost meaningless on its own. In the moment, it actually felt like freedom. I wasn't restricting myself. I was just living asterisk. But about a week into this so-called freedom, a new feeling started to creep in. A low-grade hum of anxiety. Did I actually have enough to cover that bill at the end of the week? Could I really afford to go out again this weekend? Because I had no plan, I had no answers. My financial life wasn't a clear picture. It was a thick fog. And in that fog, every single financial decision became a guess, a hope, or a prayer. By the end of the month, the results were just staggering. I sat down and finally did the one thing I'd been avoiding. I tallied up the damage. All those small, harmless daily purchases had snowballed into a shocking amount of money. Money that could have gone into savings and investment or toward debt had just vanished. Here's the pattern I uncovered. Living without a plan isn't about being lazy or bad at math. It's about avoiding the truth. It's just easier not to look because if you don't look, you don't have to face your choices. But this avoidance creates a vacuum. And that vacuum gets filled by impulse, by clever marketing, and by everyone else who wants a piece of your income. You are not in control. Your impulses are. This lack of visibility is the foundation that all other financial failures are built on. And that leads us right into the second mistake. Spending money you don't really have to look successful. This is your classic lifestyle inflation. It's impulse buying. It's using a credit card as a tool to make yourself look and feel richer than you are. This mistake is emotional, it's psychological, and it's incredibly powerful. For my experiment, I leaned right into it. A small, positive thing happened at work, nothing that came with a raise, just some good feedback. The old me would have channeled that positive energy back into my work. The experimental me said, I deserve a reward. That night, I found myself scrolling online, looking for something to mark my win. I ended up buying a watch that was asterisk way more expensive than anything I'd normally buy. I just threw it on my credit card, telling myself it was an investment piece. Second I clicked buy, I felt a rush. That dopamine hit of success and status. For a few days, wearing that watch made me feel important. I caught myself hoping people would notice it and think I was doing better than I really was. But then the feeling faded. The excitement wore off, and all I had left was the watch on my wrist and a looming credit card bill in my inbox. The feeling of success was gone, replaced by that familiar cold dread of debt. A few days later, I went to dinner with friends at a trendy, expensive restaurant I knew I shouldn't be at. I ordered the steak. I bought a round of drinks. I was asterisk performing asterisk success. But on the drive home, I wasn't thinking about the great conversation. I was just mentally calculating how much that one night had set me back, feeling the crushing weight of my own performance. This is the sneaky pattern of self-sabotage. You tie your self-worth to your spending. You're not buying a thing, you're buying an asterisk feeling. A feeling of belonging, of status, of finally being enough. But the feeling is temporary, and the only way to get it back is to spend more. It's a hamster wheel of consumption that runs on insecurity. What I learned from this is that you become a slave to what other people think. You get so busy building an asterisk facade of wealth that you never have the time or money to build the real thing. This brings us to the final, and maybe the most devastating mistake: failing to build a buffer. No emergency fund, no investing, no trying to grow your income or your skills. This is the mistake that chains you to the present and leaves you incredibly fragile, always feeling like you're one bad day away from a financial crisis. During my 30-day experiment, I operated with a $0 safety net. I took the small amount I had in an emergency fund, and for the experiment, I just considered it gone. I stopped my automatic transfers to my investment account. I was living completely on the edge with nothing but my next paycheck to rely on. For the first couple of weeks, it felt fine. Life was normal. But then a simulated emergency hit. My car started making a strange rattling noise. In my normal life, this would be an annoyance. I'd take it to the mechanic, pay for it out of my emergency fund, and move on. But in the world of my experiment, it was a catastrophe. The sound of that engine rattle sent a genuine wave of panic through me. I didn't have a few $100s just sitting there. The credit card I'd used for the watch was already carrying a balance. My mind started racing through all the worst-case scenarios. Would I have to borrow money from my parents? Take on more high-interest debt? I felt completely trapped and powerless. I spent days just worrying about it, losing sleep, and my focus at work just plummeted. The stress of that one potential bill infected every other part of my life. The pattern of self-sabotage here is prioritizing the present over the future completely. Without a cushion, you can't afford to take good risks. You can't leave a job you hate. You can't jump on a sudden opportunity. You can't even think about long-term growth or investing because your brain is stuck in survival mode, just constantly scanning for the next threat. This creates a vicious cycle. You don't have a safety net, so you're stressed. And because you're stressed, you look for short-term relief, often through the exact same spending habits that prevent you from building that safety net in the first place. You are always playing defense, never offense. And that's a huge reason why people stay financially stuck. After 30 days of living these three mistakes, I realized they aren't separate issues at all. They're a single, self-feeding system, a doom loop. It works like this. First, you live without a plan, mistake one, which creates a fog of *** invisibility * around your money. Because you can't see what's happening, you feel out of control and insecure ***. To cope with that insecurity, you spend to feel successful, mistake two, which gives you a temporary high but leads to debt and even more stress. Finally, because all your money and energy are caught in this cycle, you never build a safety net or invest, mistake three, leaving you in a permanent state of stagnation, and fragility, invisibility, insecurity, and stagnation. That is the three-part pattern that keeps people trapped. Now, I have to be real for a second. Some people face massive structural barriers, economic inequality, a lack of opportunity, and systemic issues that make building wealth incredibly difficult. This experiment doesn't ignore that reality, but what it revealed to me is that those barriers become almost impossible to overcome when this personal cycle of self-sabotage is running at the same time. But the good news, the whole reason I made this video, is that this is a pattern that you can break. Because if the cycle is invisibility, insecurity, and stagnation, then the solution is to reverse it. The solution is to build a new cycle of *** clarity, confidence, and control. *** you get clarity * by doing the opposite of mistake one. You track your spending. You make a simple plan for your money. You turn the lights on. You build real confidence by doing the opposite of mistake two. You start finding your self-worth in your progress, not your purchases. You celebrate paying off $1 of debt with the same joy you once felt buying a new toy. Your confidence comes from being the master of your money, not a slave to it. And you gain asterisk control by doing the opposite of mistake 3. You build a small emergency fund, even if it's just $500. That small buffer breaks the panic cycle. It gives you breathing room. It lets you finally lift your head up from survival mode and start thinking about the future, about investing, about growth, about what's important. My 30-day journey into financial self-sabotage was honestly stressful, but it left me with more clarity than ever before. The mistakes that keep people poor aren't failures of character. They're predictable human responses to not having a clear system. They are a pattern. And because it's a pattern, you can learn to see it, you can interrupt it, and you can replace it. It starts with one small step, not by trying to change your entire life overnight, but by choosing to break one link in the chain. Choose to track your spending for just 1 week. Choose to save your first $100 for an emergency. Choose to wait 24 hours before making one impulse purchase. Each tiny action is a vote for a new pattern. Each choice helps build the new you. You can break the cycle. I know you can. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments which of these mistakes you've struggled with the most. Just sharing it is a powerful first step. And of course, if you found this video valuable, giving it a like and subscribing to the channel would mean the world. Thanks for watching.